So for this match, I could genuinely see an upset. That thumbnail was not clickbait. I do think Turkey will. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I'm continuing this series where I react to every single World Cup qualifier match day prediction I make. And now we move on to match days 5 and 6. Here's my total score so far for match days 1 through 4. 41 correct, 7 incorrect. But that's all in terms of getting the win, draw, or loss result right. Honestly, it's a really good start, but I'm not sure how well it will go this time around. I'll be recording this video on many separate days after each day of fixtures end, in order to get this up as soon as possible. But it will be a full review on each match, some definitely more than others as there's just so much to go through. Please, if you have not already, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave an early like on this video if you want me to continue this reaction series. Let's kick things off with one of the more underrated fixtures here, Kazakhstan versus Wales. Very important match for both actually. Kazakhstan really need to take advantage of playing at home. Traveling there is quite the journey for any team, but for Wales, it's gotta be one of the worst. Kazakhstan only grabbed 1 win so far against Liechtenstein, while already losing to both Wales and Macedonia, even getting destroyed by Belarus in a friendly during the duration. An upset will be so cool to see. They need to find that motivation from the Euro 2024 qualifiers. But Wales' fighting spirit has been one of the best in this group. I mean, in 3 out of 4 matches they played in, they scored 3 goals, even against Belgium. So sorry Kazakhstan, but I'll have to give it to Wales. I'll say it's closer than people think though. It's gonna finish 2-1. It was definitely a close affair. Just got the scoreline off. Wales got the 1-0 away victory. Kiefer Moore being the one to separate the two sides on his 50th appearance for Wales. What a special moment. Huge boost for Wales to fight for a top spot. Looks like it could be really neck and neck between Belgium and Macedonia, while Kazakhstan dug themselves into a deeper hole. And it is a shame we won't see them replicate their brilliance from the last qualifier campaign, as they are not mathematically out, but it's looking like it's the end of the road for them. Lithuania versus Malta. Now we have so many matches to go through, so I'll definitely have to be brief on some, including this one. Look, neither of these countries have picked up a win yet, while the rest have 2. It's a battle of the minnows here. They've already faced one another as well, and it finished in a draw. I could see the same thing happening, but I'll say Lithuania pull through with the 1-0 victory. Should have just gone for that draw. What was I thinking? I mean, I shouldn't get so heated over a fixture like this. Both these teams will most likely finish this qualifier campaign now with no wins, since they played each other twice already, while all the other opponents should be getting no less than a draw to them. Anyway, this match did have some drama. And although a Lithuanian player went in for a slide tackle, the Malta player standing got a red card. Malta after conceded a stoppage time penalty, and then the penalty scorer received a red card a few minutes later for a foul. I cannot help but feel that Malta got hard done by in this match, but it is what it is. Georgia versus Turkey is one of those matches from the groups of 4 now, meaning we have not seen either of these teams play a single World Cup qualifier match yet. And I really could see this one going either way, as Georgia have really proven to be a serious underdog in Europe right now, while Turkey have established themselves quality-wise but are still way too unpredictable. These two countries met in the Euro group stage last year where Turkey did get a solid victory, but Georgia just put off some admirable fights in the Nations League, including destroying Armenia 9-1 on aggregate. With Georgia playing at home as well, I really could see this one going either way. Even a draw could happen. But I will be backing Turkey to grab the 3 points. I think they'll start strong here. Still though, another close scoreline. I'm going to go for 2-1. Great win for Turkey. This match was highly anticipated by many, as people believed that Georgia had what it took to grab 3 points at home. It was really back and forth overall. Despite Turkey having a 3-0 lead at one point, Georgia had their chances. However, Barış Yılmaz conceding a red card 4 minutes into his substitution was a real stinker, as Georgia nearly capitalized on Turkey's situation and was so close to producing a comeback. Anyway, Turkey's Aktürkoğlu got a brace trying to save his reputation with his nation after his recent transfer. But all jokes aside, both these sides should keep their head up, as there were so many positives for both of these teams. Netherlands versus Poland should be really interesting, but I do think there will be a clear winner. As most of us know, Poland are not in the best of situations right now. Lewandowski resigning from the national team after having a fall-off with their coach Probiers. This resulted in the FA immediately sacking their coach, knowing that they could not lose their best player. Anyway, they've gone now for Jan Urban, who's had loads of experience coaching for Polish clubs, and he's already getting one of the toughest of tests right off the bat. I'm still not a huge fan of Koeman to be the manager of the Netherlands national team if they want to compete with the best of the best. But when he's met with the team that they should be beating on paper, he usually gets the job done. This team is stacked, so I cannot see Poland trying to build up from the mess that they've created. I'm going to go for 3-1, even with Lewandowski's return. This is a massive point for Poland, not only because they were able to get something out of the group favorites, but also because of the situation they've been enduring. My apologies, by the way, in the prediction video, I stated that Probiers did get sacked, but he actually did step down. I got corrected many times from you guys on that. But regardless, in their first match under new management, they sealed a point with the Matty Cash Screamer. I knew that Poland would bounce back in form at some point, but not this soon. I'm very happy to be wrong on this prediction, as this group is really down to the wire at the time of this recording. 7 points for the Netherlands, Poland, and Finland now. Obviously, though, by the time you're watching this, these are not the actual standings, so from here on out, I'm not going to show too much of the table for Matchday 5, but I will very much in Matchday 6. Luxembourg versus Northern Ireland now. This one is tough to call. Both teams have been on their own kind of rise lately. Luxembourg being a really tough team to break down as of late, but they did disappoint in the Nations League recently, while also having Northern Ireland in their group, failing to beat them both times. This might be their golden chance, but Northern Ireland's squad I'd say is one of the most exciting right now. Qualifying for the World Cup itself might be a steep task, but this nation definitely have what it takes to continue to build with the young crop of talent they have. They worked together wonderfully recently to defeat Bulgaria 5-0, for example, with Shea Charles, Trae Hume, Isaac Price, and Justin Devaney. Connor Bradley should be returning from injury at this point of time as well, so Michael O'Neill's army could be coming at full force. The problem with this team, though, is their recent away record. Quite poor, as the last match won on the road was all the way back in March 2024. That's why I think this one might finish in a draw, as that's what happened last time Northern Ireland did travel to Luxembourg. I'll say it finishes 1-1. This group was absolute chaos so far. Spoiler alert for the other match. I would have gone for the Northern Ireland away win if it weren't for the poor away record recently, but they very much turned up. But now they've genuinely proven to be a solid competitor in this group. What was that move from Korac though, there to concede a penalty within 7 minutes? He had a horrible display and costed his side the match, as he also got sent off for a later challenge. Not surprised I got this one wrong whatsoever, went ambitious for that draw, but the recent rise of Northern Ireland only continues. Looking at that same group though, Slovakia versus Germany. Obviously, Slovakia are not to be underestimated in Europe, and many are favoring them to get second in this group. But now they are facing one of the toughest teams in the Confederation. Germany under Nagelsmann was incredibly impressive at the Euros. However, they did slip in the recent Nations League finals while playing at home. They lost to Portugal and even France in the third place match. Obviously, tougher teams on paper compared to Slovakia, but they really need to bounce back now here to avoid further skepticism and not really fall off in form. Slovakia have not picked up a win all of 2025 though. So I'm going to favor Germany to bounce back in form. They're going to win 3-1. Wow, Germany should be horribly disappointed with this result. Obviously, there's a lot of time to come back, but it's not looking good for Deutschland. Slovakia, yes, were an exciting underdog at the Euro tournament, but like I mentioned, they did not pick up a single win in almost 10 months. Germany do have a decent amount of injury problems, but it's no excuse. The depth and talent this side have, they should only be expecting the best in the group they're in. I made a recent short about this match with, I guess, an exaggerated title and hook, where many were quick to assume I'm predicting Germany to not qualify now, even though I never actually said that I don't think Germany will qualify. I mean, when you think about it, any team that loses their first qualifier match very much might not qualify for the World Cup. I do think Germany have what it takes to bounce back, although Slovakia found a lot of confidence in that match. They have proven to be really inconsistent in form. At the same time though, I don't know, they looked really good against Germany. Strelitz's goal against Rudiger was a work of art. Hansko also getting on the score sheet, having a fantastic match. Big congratulations to Slovakia for this incredible win. It's going to be very interesting to see these sides go up against one another again, as the next time they face will be on the final international break prior to the World Cup draw, meaning Germany could be on their toes for the rest of the qualifier campaign unless Slovakia slip in the meantime. 4 out of 6 wrong so far is not a good start though. Liechtenstein versus Belgium. There is no chance Belgium is losing here. Now, they are not the best right now, even though they're undefeated so far, still conceding too many goals. But they should get a comfortable 5-0 victory against Liechtenstein, even with Lukaku injured for some time. How close was that? I mean, I don't have to say too much about this one. Belgium decimated this side to a new dimension. The only side to lose to San Marino didn't get a shot all match and had 18% possession. It's been a bad start so far on my predictions, so I gotta take these extra points. Bulgaria versus Spain, I think, is another clear winner here. Bulgaria for some years now have been facing their dark times, and for them to think they can get a result against Spain, well, that would be quite optimistic. I think Spain will win 4-0 to be honest. Close enough, 3-0 for the Euro champions. Some underwhelming conversions in the attack, but overall España pulled through with Arsenal's best striker last season Germany's favorite player not from their nation, and England's nightmare getting on the score sheet. Bulgaria got dominated, no question. Let's be honest, it could have been worse for them. Greece versus Belarus. Finally, we are seeing Greece in these World Cup qualifiers. I personally have high hopes for this nation. I love their Serbian manager, Ivan Jovanovic, who I've talked about numerous times. They have so many exciting wonder kids bursting into the scene, already making a name for themselves on the senior team as well. In their last 3 matches, they've scored 3 goals minimum each, and are on a beautiful run of form. So I'm expecting big things from them to even maybe qualify for the World Cup. But they need to start strong here, and I think they will. 4-0 victory for Greece. 5 past Belarus now. I've been hyping this side up like crazy, so I'm so happy to see them actually prove their worth. It was 4-0 at halftime and all their gems shined here. I mean, 5 different goal scorers. Karetsas, the 17-year-old, scoring in the 3rd minute. We'll see later in the video how it went against Denmark. The Faroe Islands versus Croatia. Why am I nervous for this one? I know I shouldn't be, but Croatia were too good in their first 2 matches played, destroying our biggest threat in the qualifier group, Czech Republic, and even scoring loads against Gibraltar. It just makes me think a slip is coming because this nation never liked to do qualification campaigns perfectly. Okay, in all seriousness, I know I get pessimistic with my own national team, but I have to back them in a fixture like this. The Faroe Islands have made it very cagey for many of their opponents though. They often lose, but only by 1 goal. The last time it's been more than 1 was all the way back in June 2024. So it might be closer than people think, especially with them at home. But I'll say Croatia do get the 2-0 victory. See, now I've gained validity for being nervous for Croatia. Just 1-0 against the Faroe Islands. I told you all though, this underdog is slept on. They made it so close with so many of their opponents recently. Croatia just pulled through against a squad with most of their players having a 9-5. Thanks to Kramaric, who is now the top goal scorer of World Cup qualifying at the time of this recording with 5 goals. I'm not going to say Sramota Hrvatska. 3 points is 3 points. Faroe Islands are better than they seem. We'll just have to assess again after that Montenegro match. Slovenia versus Sweden. Now, in general, I am so excited to see what happens in this group. It's filled with possibilities. People consider Slovenia to be an underdog, but they have been very much impressing recently. I'm actually going to say this one finishes in a 1-1 draw. Always nice to predict a draw correctly. Sweden, despite looking star-studded right now in the attack, I told you Slovenia do have what it takes to hold off this side. What an error though from Olsen on that first goal for Slovenia. If these sides continue to be too cagey against one another, Switzerland can definitely take advantage and maybe even cruise through in this group. Who knows, maybe Switzerland will be halted by one of these guys. We'll get into them later. But I think this is a better result for Slovenia than it is for Sweden, just based off of expectations. Moldova versus Israel. Both these sides have not met in this campaign yet, but both took a beating to Norway, while Moldova lost to Estonia and Israel defeated them twice. It's either going to be a draw or a win for Israel, I'd say, but I'll say Israel win 2-1. Wow, definitely not so close of an encounter. Israel destroyed Moldova 4-0. Poor Moldova, they have been getting smoked by everyone. Somehow, Italy scored the least amount of goals against them so far. Switzerland versus Kosovo. Wow, if only Shaqiri did not retire internationally. Switzerland are the biggest favorites, but Kosovo have been on a tear lately. 5-2 against Iceland on aggregate in the Nations League, then 5 goals against Armenia, and 4 against Comoros in friendlies. I don't know how that match was organized though. But one could argue that their form is why Dua Lipa pushed to get her 3rd citizenship. Switzerland have also scored loads against the World Cup hosts in recent friendlies, which is a huge boost for them as after the Euros they seem to dip a bit in form. I feel like a side like Switzerland though would not underestimate Kosovo. They know how good they can be with how many quality players they have. If this were an away fixture for them, I would say Kosovo could pull off at least a draw, but I do think Switzerland have what it takes to get 3 points, and I'll say they get a 4-2 victory. What a performance by Switzerland. I feel like they really turned up a gear after their poor stints in the Nations League. Kosovo, on the other hand, this is the first time they failed to score a goal in a match in 364 days since they played Romania in the Nations League. Maybe they can turn it around, but I was hoping for them to surprise here, but what a horrendous start. Montenegro versus Czechia. This match already happened in June where Czechia did get the 2-0 win, but maybe now Montenegro's neighbor crushed their opposition's confidence. Crna could easily surprise, but I think Czechia will bounce back for a 2-1 victory. A very early goal and a very late goal for Czechia. Yeah, despite the scoreline being 2-0, this match was actually very back and forth more than it seemed on the surface. Crna put off a great fight even on possession and even had as many opportunities as Czechia, just failing to be on target as much. Czechia's goal in the 3rd minute, scored by Cherv, though, might have been the goal of the qualifier campaign. What a volley. Deserved win for Czechia, I'd say, but hopefully Croatia can take advantage of them again. Denmark versus Scotland, though. This one one is really 50-50 for me. Both quality sides with some fantastic names. I mean, Scott McTominay has totally revolutionized himself at Napoli, but the nation's form recently has been way too back and forth, so it's hard to gauge where this one will go. I have no idea what to say on this one. I think both sides are also curious how they're going to start things off. This is probably going to be my biggest guess out of them all, but I'll say Denmark win 2-1. This draw was an absolute slap in the face. 0-0. For sure, neither of these teams will be happy with this result. Both these sides had their fair share of opportunities as well throughout the match, so it really could have been a narrow victory for either like my prediction suggested. But it wasn't meant to be, and it's simply a stinger for sure. Now for Italia versus Estonia. As I've talked about in numerous videos now, Italy are in a very bad situation. Losing to Norway 3-0 in the last break, they very much need to turn things around. They did immediately sack Spalletti, but now they have hired Gattuso. This guy, for me, I don't know if he's the answer for the national team. He doesn't really have the best resume. I mean, he just bottled the Croatian league title. And out of all the clubs he has managed, he only achieved over a 50% record of wins with Napoli. Italy's situation is obviously warring times. It would be insane if they do not qualify for their third World Cup in a row, but that's a topic for another day. But that mystery will linger on for some time as they put themselves in this horrible position. They got to focus on this match day though for now, and I think they will clean up against Estonia. This should be comfortable for Italy. I'll say they win 3-0. This match nearly turned into Denmark versus Scotland. 0-0 at halftime. You already know Gattuso had one of the best halftime talks of all time. Taking a transfer to a club in Saudi Arabia is still fresh, scored himself a brace. Keane, Raspadori, even Bastoni in stoppage time. A team that totally transformed in the second half. I mean, Retegi's assist to Keane for that opening goal was also outrageous. There's still a lot of work to do, but what a statement win for Italy, showing that they might be able to be a threat for Norway and can get their revenge the next time they face. Iceland versus Azerbaijan, I'm going to be very quick on this, as Azerbaijan have not picked up a win since June 2024. Surely this one's going to Iceland. I'm saying it finishes 3-1. Maybe I was even a bit too generous to think Azerbaijan could score against the mighty Iceland. A 5-0 victory. What a performance. Maybe they could do wonders going forward with that goal difference and maybe even cause some upsets. Probably the best start they could have asked for. Ukraine versus France. Ukraine have a lot of quality and they shouldn't be underestimated, but I think the national team as a whole are under poor guidance. Not to mention one of their best players, Mudryk, has been banned. Also, the quality France have had on paper over the years. I mean, they are definitely the clear favorites. I'm going to say it finishes 2-0. But who knows, Ukraine might put off a better fight. Wow, an actual scoreline right, finally. Not surprised France got the win whatsoever. Not only are they the stronger side on paper, Ukraine did have some missing key players like Tsigankov. The upset was too hard to see here. Latvia versus Serbia now. I told you all since the beginning, watch out for this nation. I knew it was going to be between Serbia and Albania probably for that playoff spot. Who knows, maybe England will dip as well. But I had the feeling that Latvia will make one or even both of those playoff contenders struggle. And they already pulled off a draw with Albania, which is a massive setback. And Serbia can definitely take advantage now. Would I be surprised at all if Latvia pull off another 1-1 draw at their own home ground? Not at all. But I do think Serbia are the favorites in this. I think they can pull off a 1-0 victory. Let's go! I believe that's back-to-back scorelines correct, and I've been saying since the beginning, don't sleep on Latvia here. They can make things very close. Vlahovic being the hero with the early finish. Wish there was more action in this, but good news for Serbia. Now moving on to Armenia versus Nations League champions Portugal. This should be an easy win for Portugal. No offense, Armenia, but you guys are in the mud. Last win was all the way back in November as you lost to Georgia 9-1 on aggregate in the Nations League. Imagine after all that, they come back in form against such an amazing nation in UEFA. No way I can see it. I think Ronaldo will have a fantastic match here. I'm going to say Portugal win 5-0. 3 for 3 back-to-back correct scorelines now. What a win for Portugal. I genuinely think this is one of the first times in my life where I'm saying this. They could be one of the favorites to win the World Cup. Ronaldo scoring a brace here. I think he's at 942 goals. It's crazy how well he clicks with the national team now after everyone thought he was done from the 2022 tournament. But no, Roberto Martinez brought him back and he is a key figure for the national team once again. Now he might play in another, even maybe will go on to win it, while Messi claims that he might not make it to the tournament. England versus Andorra. Now normally off the bat, I'd just give England a crazy scoreline victory. But that's what I did last time, and look what happened. Just 1-0 for England, despite Andorra only having 17% possession. Alright, you know what? Surely it will go better this time. Maybe I won't be too ambitious, but I'll say the Three Lions will get a 4-0 win at home. It was still too ambitious, and of course it had to be England to ruin my correct scoreline streak. It took England 2 matches to score 3 goals against Andorra, while Serbia and Albania were able to do it in 1. Dominated the match regardless, obviously according to the stats, but an interesting observation. qualification. Moving on to Austria versus Cyprus. Austria in recent years have been in very interesting form, but now they bounce back, defeating Romania and then San Marino. 2 for 2 wins so far in World Cup qualification. Surely they can make it 3 for 3 here. Cyprus have made it tricky for some of the teams, but I still think that Austria will win 2-0 here. Wow, what an interesting result. Austria struggled against Cyprus even while they were playing at home. The only goal scored was a penalty by Sabitzer. A much needed 3 points, but it makes me question what will happen against Bosnia next. And if this Austria side died down a bit compared to the Euro days. Oh, this fixture is going to be good. San Marino versus Bosnia. These sides faced in the last break while Bosnia were at home, and they only could pull off a 1-0 victory. The best defensive performance San Marino had in this World Cup qualifier campaign. All the other matches so far, they conceded more than 1 goal. But I think they can make it 4 for 4 here. I'm going to say they defeat San Marino away 2-0. I thought Bosnia were about to beat San Marino only 1-0 again, but after Dzeko got on the score sheet, the whole national team ignited to perfection. 5 goals coming after the 70th minute. Glad Bosnia took care of that, as San Marino had a red card for most of the match. Great to have the goal difference go your way this time, Bosnia, as there were too many narrow affairs earlier. And the last match of Matchday 5, wow, we went through so much already. We have a whole nother match day to go. Ireland versus Hungary. I'm actually really excited about this one. Definitely the ones I'm more 50-50 about. Hungary, you can argue, have more established pieces to their team, but the recent form has been far from good. Since the Euros have ended, the only teams that they were able to beat were Bosnia and Azerbaijan. And I only talked about Hungary's results after the Euros, but at the Euro tournament as well, they were deemed to be the underdog of the tournament, and they absolutely flopped. I think this side have been way too underwhelming lately, despite them looking very decent on paper. I do think Ireland have what it takes to win this match. It might be considered an upset, but I'm saying they pull it off, just a 2-1 victory. This match was crazy. Obviously, wrong result at the end, but I'm happy I at least gave Ireland somewhat the benefit of the doubt to grab some points from home. They came back for a draw despite being 2-0 down after 15 minutes. Strong start for Hungary, but they completely fell apart, with Ireland even scoring a stoppage time equalizer. Now, despite the celebrations in Dublin at the end, I still think Ireland should not be entirely happy with this result, as they very much should have strived for 3 points in this fixture. Hungary got a red card early into the second half. They could have been more explosive than that and not found their footing so late into the game. Nevertheless, all to play for obviously, and Ireland are still in the race for the playoffs, as let's be honest, they're not going to get first place in this group. That's going to Portugal. And not just Ireland, for Hungary's case as well, I'd be disappointed. These guys were considered the guaranteed dark horse at Euro 2024, but they heavily have fallen off under Marco Rossi. Still sticking with the same manager, we'll see if it pays off later down the road, but Hungary have not been picking up enough wins lately. Alright, that's the end of Matchday 5. Let's move on to Matchday 6 now. Starting out with Georgia versus Bulgaria. Who knows if Georgia will be able to take down Turkey in Matchday 5. But either way, I see them destroying Bulgaria, especially with them at home as well. I think it could be 3 or 4-0. I'll go with 3-0. Nice job for me choosing 3-0. Yeah, Georgia did the same amount of damage to Bulgaria as Spain did to them as well. Proving it more and more, unfortunately, Bulgaria is the punching bag of this group. We'll see if they can even salvage a point. Lithuania versus the Netherlands. It should be a comfortable win for the Dutch. I'll go for 4-0 here. What a historical win for the Netherlands despite that close encounter. Memphis Depay in this match has become the top goal scorer of all time for the Netherlands national team. Anyway, I thought Lithuania had no chance to seal some more points, but clearly they have a good opportunity to. They put off a really good fight against the group favorites. Macedonia versus Liechtenstein. Please don't bottle this, Macedonia. I'll say you guys win this one 3-0. 5-star performance from Macedonia to keep them at the top of their group. Undefeated still with 11 points, while Liechtenstein have scored none and conceded 19 so far. At the time of this recording, the worst side in the UEFA World Cup qualifiers. Belgium versus Kazakhstan. For some reason, I see Belgium making some defensive error, but they'll still win the match 3-1. Yeah, Kazakhstan totally fell apart here. What a window from Belgium, though. Some were skeptical how they do without Lukaku, but they've still scored 12 goals in 2 matches this international break. Their toughest task will be the next international break, though, when they have to face the other sides that actually are competing for a first place spot. They have 1 match in hand, still undefeated, and only 1 point behind Macedonia. Poland versus Finland. Now this one will be interesting, as Finland did defeat Poland last time around. That was obviously in the mix with all the Lewandowski drama. So they could be fueled to overtake Poland for their potential playoff spot, because let's face it, Netherlands are topping that group. But I think Poland will finally go back to winning ways here. Of course, it's going to be tough against the Netherlands, but Finland, they should be able to handle, especially with their star striker back. I'm saying it finishes 2-1. Poland are back. Great revenge story against Finland. Sorry to our boy Michael. But Finland are falling behind now with the same amount of wins and losses, while Poland share points with the Netherlands, still with one extra match played though. But still, I cannot wait to see these nations face each other once again. Imagine Poland actually upsets the Netherlands and qualifies for the World Cup in that automatic spot over them. Moving on now to Turkey versus Spain. Now, definitely, no doubt about it, Spain are the favorites in this. But Turkey are one of the most unpredictable national teams in the world. And with them playing at home, that is a massive advantage. We all know how Turkish fans can be. Despite Spain being regarded now as one of the best teams in the world, they've been conceding a lot of goals. In their last 5 matches, they've conceded 2 goals minimum each. In regards to Turkey, they'll always defy the odds. They could lose to the Faroe Islands and then defeat the Netherlands the next day. So for this match, I could genuinely see an upset. That thumbnail was not clickbait. I do think Turkey will win 3-2. Yeah, I don't want to predict an upset ever again. That has to be my worst prediction of all time. At least I sensed a big upset this break. Just was not even close to getting the right giant to fall this international break. Spain crucified this team to a new dimension 6-0 in that hostile Turkish atmosphere. All praise to them. Mikel Merino getting a hat-trick, Yamal with 2 assists, Pedri making it look so easy. I don't want to take anything away from Spain. They continue to prove that they're one of the best national teams in the world. However, Turkey's flaws got completely exposed here. That was one of the worst defensive performances I have ever seen. It's probably even got Onana afraid to transfer to Trabzonspor now. The marking was atrocious, giving Spain so much space for nearly all of their attacks. Yeah, I'm sorry if I gave anyone hope for this fixture to be much more end-to-end. Far from it. I mean, Arda Güler and Kenan Yildiz, even Aktürkoğlu had their good moments, but the better team took charge of the pitch, making instant impact as well. Yeah, Turkish football, it's always a cinema, isn't it? Just not always a happy ending. We'll see if they can bounce back from this one. Anyway, congrats to Spain, and sorry for sleeping on you guys. To be honest, I didn't really, because I knew you guys would still top this group by the end. I'm saying it as if it already happened, but let's be honest, it will. Just thought there was going to be some quick drama for you guys and a wake-up call. Maybe what Germany's future is going to look like now. That's 9 goals for them this international break alone, and they are top of the group. Due to goal difference, Turkey are 3rd and Georgia are in front. Luxembourg versus Slovakia next. Luxembourg could hold off Slovakia to a draw, but I think Slovakia will pull off the 1-0 away victory, getting their first win of 2025. You see, guys, I'm actually not that bad at predictions. Well, I definitely was not right about it being Slovakia's first win of 2025, but still, I can't lie though, they did get a bit lucky. Luxembourg failed to convert some attempts where they hit the post, could have easily been 2-1 instead. Not to mention the goal Slovakia scored in the 89th minute mostly was due to poor goalkeeping. They are at the top now, and what a window for them. Deutschland versus Northern Ireland. Despite Northern Ireland having a very exciting squad on their hands, Germany should be winning this one 5-0. Wow, Germany needed this win more than ever after their halt to Slovakia. It wasn't perfect, but they still got the 3 points. And Wirtz scoring that free kick individually, that's going to boost his confidence as well. One of the nicest hits. That has Germany in 3rd still, but surely they'll bounce back from this. Northern Ireland 2nd and Slovakia still at the top. This group might go down to the wire more than most of us expected though. Kosovo versus Sweden. Don't want to rule out Kosovo here. I already explained their great form lately. Sweden might have a more tricky international break than they'd imagine. I mean, both their matches they have to play away. I really want to see Kosovo do it, but I do think Sweden will win 3-1. Bravo to Kosovo. As you saw in my recent reaction to their match against Switzerland, I didn't really have much faith in you guys to come back this soon. But what a quick reply to that defeat away. Now at home, they took care of Sweden playing some incredible counter-attacking football. That strike from Muriqi to score the second was sensational, and Kosovo finally proving themselves in qualifiers after hyping them up. I know I didn't predict you guys to win this time, but I've known since the beginning that Kosovo could definitely stir up this group one way or another. And already within 2 match days of the groups of 4, Kosovo had made a massive impact against one of what is considered to be the top teams in this group. This national team are highly regarded right now. Obviously, their defense has not been great, but they do possess one of the best attacking forces in all of Europe, and they just lost to the newest UEFA and FIFA member who only got approved in 2016. And what I said in the prediction video was right. Sweden might have a more tricky international break than they'd imagine. Only 1 point so far in 2 matches after just having 2 record-breaking transfers in the Premier League. But Kosovo play with pure passion and emotion, so when things click within their team and the other side lacks some kind of fire, they take advantage. And Sweden have been left stunned in Pristina. And what an underdog story it would be for Kosovo. It might be tough for them to get first place, but imagine they pull through for second and get a playoff spot. But moving on to the other match in that group, Switzerland versus Slovenia, it's going to be a 2-1 for the Swiss. Some people see them bottling this group, but I think they'll at least have a strong start. Yeah, it doesn't look like Switzerland are going to bottle this group. They've had an impeccable start, scoring 7 goals in 2 matches and conceding none. Slovenia are also known for stunning teams defensively at times, and they have been outshined here. Only 1 match so far in 2025 now, Switzerland have not scored 3 or more goals in. It didn't seem so impressive when it was against the USA, but they're still steamrolling everyone else now. And Bolo still got it for the national team. He scored 3 so far in 2 matches. They are surely the favorites to hang on to first place. Belarus versus Scotland. Scotland should definitely take this one. I think they'll win 2-0 away. Oh my days, spot on for Steve Clark's army. Clumsy own goal for Belarus, but I can't lie, their kid shoulder pattern is fire. Hrvatska versus Crna Gora is going to be incredible, but with Croatia at home, they definitely should take care of their neighbors. I'm going to say it finishes 3-0. Completely dominant performance from Hrvatska, 4-0, and I thought I was being a bit too ambitious with my prediction. Montenegro's early red didn't help, and they were dominant all match. What a result to achieve the night before Modric's birthday. This guy's still playing like he's in his mid-20s, and he just turned 40 years old. Croatia are now at the top of the group with the match in hand over Czechia, so if they beat them one more time, surely they will qualify for the World Cup soon. Israel versus Italy. Italy are definitely the favorites. In all their recent meetings, Italy were able to win. I think it will be a similar instance as the last time they traveled away for this fixture. I think Italy will win 2-1. Well, I was right about it being close at least. Who would have expected 9 goals to come out of this match? 5-4 to be exact. Easily one of the most bizarre World Cup qualifier matches we have seen so far in UEFA. Italy genuinely had a scare, scoring quite a few own goals. But Moise Kean always with immediate replies as soon as his team goes down. And Retegui again with backheel assists mid-air. He's playing better for the national team ever since he's gone to Saudi. This international break alone, he got 2 goals and 4 assists. But Israel nearly made a glorious comeback. Being 4-2 down, they made it 4-4 in the 89th minute. But Tonali silenced them after Israel thought they picked up a last-minute point with quite an interesting long shot. Italy would have been cooked if they did not grab 3 points here. They saved themselves from a real scare. As they're really on thin ice in the first place, they need every point possible to catch up to Norway and hopefully redeem themselves once they come up against one another head-to-head. That win now has them in front of Israel with the match in hand while sharing points. So it really could have not been a more important win. Bravo, Italia. We're all happy you didn't bottle this one. Gibraltar versus the Faroe Islands. Gibraltar have never gotten a qualifier win in their history. Faroe Islands should win 2-0. That was easily Gibraltar's best chance to grab their first ever qualifier win. But the Faroe Islands get another narrow result, this time going their way, of course. They're actually above Montenegro now because of this result due to goal difference. It pays off only losing narrowly at times. This one, though, is going to be good. Greece versus Denmark. 2 absolute quality sides with one of them definitely on the come up. Maybe I'm overhyping Greece, but I think they can have the perfect window. I'm going to say they can have a statement victory here, defeating Denmark 3-1. All right, I hyped up Greece. Ivan Jovanovic, what happened? 3-0. I knew this one was ambitious, but Denmark won comfortably. After they failed to find the back of the net against Scotland, I thought surely Greece could at least strive to get a draw. 2 goals from outside the box. Denmark looked completely confident today and totally outplayed Greece, having way more opportunities. Such a shame. Greece can still come back from this, but my hype for them has definitely died down a bit, as they didn't even make it close here. The standings are still close, to be fair. They've gotten the better of Scotland before, but now they're 3rd place, 1 point behind their 2 biggest rivals of the group. Belarus, as almost everyone predicted though, is last place. Armenia versus Ireland. This seems like the perfect type of cagey match where Ireland win 1-0. All right, I think the video is only going to go downhill from here with the final day of this international break. Ireland, after giving their nation some hope, lost to the weakest side on paper in their group, Armenia. That's Armenia's first win since November when they played Latvia in the Nations League. And honestly, it could have been worse. The difference of pace between these 2 teams was very noticeable. Armenia actually very much turned up in this match. Fair play to them. This is now my 10th prediction wrong in this video alone. It's never gotten to 10 wrong in any of the match day prediction videos. There are now a lot more matches than the previous videos, to be fair, now that all the teams are playing, but still, I think the number unfortunately will only go up more. Azerbaijan versus Ukraine. Despite Ukraine's iffy situations within the national team, they should take care of Azerbaijan. I'll go for 3-0. You see, it's not getting any better. Ukraine could barely hang on to a 1-0 lead until Zinchenko got a handball in the penalty box, allowing Azerbaijan to score a penalty. What a silly match to drop points in, as that's very much going to hurt Ukraine now. They're 3rd, tied on points with Azerbaijan. They might even fail to qualify for the playoffs now when they were the heavy favorites in their group to do so. France versus Iceland. At home, Iceland might put up a fight, but I think France have what it takes to win something like 5-1. Not even close to 5 goals, but at least we got the winner right. I thought I was about to get it wrong though. Iceland were up 1-0 for a good amount of time. The fact that they put off such a good fight against France away and even annihilated Azerbaijan. If this side keep it up, I would say they've been way more convincing than Ukraine lately. And they could be the ones to earn a playoff spot. They're second place right now. Of course, France are probably going to top this group. Anyway, Mbappe's penalty made him France's second highest goal scorer of all time in front of Henry now. Cyprus versus Romania. Like I mentioned, Cyprus, despite losing often, have been putting off some decent fights. So I think they're going to go toe-to-toe with Romania a bit, but Romania will get the win at the end. It's going to finish 2-1. Now, Cyprus recently have not been making it easy for most of their opponents. They even nearly drew with Austria. For them to get a point against Romania is obviously incredible for them, but for Romania themselves, it's a horrendous result, especially with how many people were confident that Romania could qualify for the World Cup this year. I even was buying into the hype, but now they have 7 points. Of course, mathematically still in the race, but it's going to be tough to catch up to Bosnia and Austria. Romania got too comfortable after Draguș scored an early brace after 18 minutes. And Cyprus, without a doubt, showed a fighting spirit to carry forward. Fair play to them, but another result wrong that I didn't think I need to worry about. Serbia versus England. Of course, England are the favorites on paper, but Serbia love to catch people off guard in qualifier campaigns. Let's not forget what happened in the World Cup qualifiers when they topped the group over Portugal on the final match day. Are we going to see some kind of drama like that in Belgrade? I think that's where this one's being played. Or will England just do the job comfortably? This will be their toughest task, I reckon, within this group. Surely England will not finish with an absolutely perfect qualifier campaign. They have to drop points at some point. So if it's going to be any moment, this is probably it. I don't think Serbia will win, but I do think it will finish in a 0-0 draw. Serbia. After all these results, I failed to predict the draw right, and then I go for a draw for Serbia. I know England were the favorites, but 5-0? How has England gone on to score more goals against Serbia in one match compared to Andorra in 2? Serbia got totally outplayed, and it's a nightmare result for them. Not just the scoreline, obviously, that's bad enough, but also the red card they picked up, Milenkovic being sent off. Now he's going to have to miss that match against Albania, and that's Serbia's best defender. We'll get into Albania's result later, but this now has Albania over Serbia, still with the match in hand, but conceding 5 goals is going to hurt their goal difference. What a performance from the favorites, obviously. I knew there was a chance I was going to get this one wrong, but 5-0, not what I expected whatsoever, especially with England having some slow performances in their other matches. Hungary versus Portugal should have a clear winner on the surface. Like I mentioned, Nations League champions versus a side that is not looking to be in the best form. Hungary could surprise, but I think Portugal will get a 2-1 victory away. Only my second outcome right in the last 6 matches, jeez. Respect to Hungary for putting off such a good fight, 2 goals against the mighty Portugal, but of course Portugal had to outscore them, and of course Cristiano Ronaldo had to get another goal leading up to his tally to get 1,000. 943 now. Ronaldo also became the joint all-time top goal scorer in World Cup qualifiers. 39 goals, tied with Carlos Ruiz. This scoreline almost gave me flashbacks to Euro 2016, if you know, you know. Very end-to-end match. Varga complicated things, but Portugal prevailed. Bosnia versus Austria. I think this is Bosnia's biggest test yet. As yes, they've already gotten 3 for 3 wins and are looking to get 4 for 4 if they do beat San Marino. Austria is without a doubt the toughest team on paper in their group. So they very much need to get some kind of statement victory in order to secure first place still. Even a draw would be a good result for them, I think. But although Austria have been back and forth with form, unfortunately, I do think Bosnia's luck will run out here. I don't even want to say that they've been lucky, but they really have been scraping through some results. So I'm sorry, Bosnia. I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but I think it's going to finish 2-1 for Austria away. All right, out of all these final matches to get correct, I actually am surprised I got this one right. I was questioning what would happen here after Bosnia's dominant performance against San Marino. I know it was against San Marino, but they were incredible in the attack towards the end. Really seemed to gain confidence, while Austria struggled against Cyprus. So I thought Bosnia could pull through, but my initial prediction remained correct. Bosnia actually looked really good in this match, especially in the first half, but unfortunately all started to collapse and Austria started to regain their identity. Austria's goal was definitely an unlucky deflection, but they shouldn't have had space for that player to be open in the first place. But yeah, it will be interesting to see how this group finishes out, as Bosnia and Austria share points right now. Bosnia are ahead, but Austria do have a match in hand. It's still anyone's game truly, and Bosnia should still believe. I'm a Bosno. Norway versus Moldova. Last time it finished 5-0. I'm going to say it's 6-0 this time. Nearly double what I said. Nearly double. Norway 11-1 against Moldova. I thought this was their biggest win, but it's actually not. They did beat Finland 12-0 back in 1946. 5 goals for Holland, 2 assists, counted 3 as he gave his penalty to Osgaard. He wanted to help the 23-year-old secure a hat-trick, but Osgaard still went on to score 4. Look at this outrageous goal difference for Norway now. 21 versus Italia's 5. Yeah, sorry, Italy. It looks like it's going to be the playoffs for you guys once again, unless Norway do massively slip. But with a performance like that, it's hard to see it. These guys, after not qualifying for a major international tournament in 26 years, are about to finally do it. It doesn't matter if it's just Moldova. Who else has been scoring 11 goals in one match in this World Cup qualifier campaign? Norway might have what it takes to not only qualify for the World Cup, but also have a deep run. And the final match we're looking at in this video is a repeat of Albania versus Latvia. Albania now know that they cannot rule out this side, but I still think this one's going to be a bit cagey. I see them pulling off the win though. They're going to get 3 points, but it will just be 1-0. And we finished the video being on the money with Albania. 1-0 victory against Latvia. Like I already mentioned, that puts them above Serbia for now, but Serbia do have a match in hand. Don't forget they are facing each other in the next international break, so that should be interesting. Anyway, this has definitely been my worst prediction video for these UEFA World Cup qualifiers since I've started this series. For a bit of optimism for some teams, didn't always play it safe. That ended up hurting me, but in that process, many teams that people did not expect to do well actually got something out of this international break. So let me know how you guys did in your predictions in the comments below. International break these days will come a lot more frequent than normal, so make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay updated for everything World Cup qualifier related. I'll be uploading a lot over the next few months for the UEFA competitions, World Cup qualifiers for most of the confederations, so don't forget to tune into it all. Don't forget to leave a like on this video if you haven't already, and I will see you all very, very soon. Take care. Loco noite.